Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with the host El Young, and we are here with the brilliant Damian Lee Tiner. Welcome, Damian.
Hey, how's it going, folks?
So, Damian, for those who don't know, could you tell us, could you introduce yourself and what you do?
Sure. Well, I'm Damian Lee Tiner. I generally go by Damian. I'm a musician out of the Mojave Desert near Joshua Tree. I've been playing for about 30 years, and over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been releasing music online as I'm a songwriter and an independent artist. I started, excuse me, I started with Purple Flower and Diamond Jack back in 2022 and 2023. And I've been releasing music since then. Last year I released the Burning Memories album and the Love and Faith cover EP. And and this year I'm getting ready to release a new cover EP called The Beauty and the Horror, and just after that another full length original album called The Black Path, an 11 song album, just like it's a follow up to last year's Burning Memory album, which is on YouTube now. It's a full video with 11 complete videos, the entire collection, all original music written from 1997 to about 2013. And the Black Path is going to pick up from about 2013 to current years. And that's what I do. And I'm a live performer. I perform all over the desert here and Southern California, and that's what I do.
So, let's dive into what you've been up to recently. So, you're going to be releasing the EP Beauty and the Whore. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I came up with this idea, the beauty and the horror. Yeah, at the time, me and Jen were kind of traveling around. I know we took a trip to Las Vegas, and the contrast. I was looking. We were having a great time, and of course, we're both sober. Neither of us are gamblers, and we're having this beautiful time, but we're walking, there's people literally starving and dying on the streets, and the homeless, and I remember thinking to myself, God, the beauty and the horror, it's all these, the intricate wicker work of the universe just unfolding before us all the time. There's all these beautiful things in the world, and simultaneously there's all these horrible things. So that was the premise of the album. And then what I kind of did there, I was like, well, what songs, can I pick out? I wanted to do another 5 cover song EP, just like Love and Faith, but with a different theme. Love and Faith, all the songs were themed around love and faith. And so this one's the beauty and the horror. And I picked songs that had a very literary sort of background, like Message in a Bottle was is one of the songs. Very, it's really about the story, behind it. The man being, you know, tucked away on a beach, and he's throwing out a message, for people, and he thinks nobody's listening, and he wakes up, and all these bottles of all these lonely souls are out there like himself, and he realizes he's not alone in being alone. And I thought, wow, the beauty and the horror in that, how horrible it must be to feel that isolation, but the beauty of all these responses, to how they're feeling. So some of the criteria, and of course, I wanted to do songs that were very kind of legendary in their own right, that everybody sort of knows. So I picked "Message in a Bottle" as the opening track of there, and then from there, I moved on to "Dust in the Wind" by Kansas, and another song with lots of literary stuff, and it's, all that we do is it just kind of scatters like dust in the wind. Everything good, everything bad, the beauty and the horror of it all. It's all dust in the wind, and so I picked that song, very legendary, and I added drums to it. I added 7-string guitars, really shreddy, stuff, and I jokingly I say I horrified it. I took a song that was relatively acoustic and folky, and I turned it into a grungy metal, thing. And that song is very special too. We're gonna actually Jen is gonna be doing some guest vocals on the final release of that. So look forward to that, a little duet between us there, Jen, and that brings me to the third song of the demo, which is "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson. And I grew up with this song as a kid, and I think a lot of us, from the '80s, can remember the video with Martin Luther King and Gandhi and JFK and all these things, and it captures the beauty and the horror, well, talking about the homeless kids on the streets and people without enough to eat, a broken bottle top, broken hearts, and but real change comes from within. And so that message, and so I'm starting with the man in the mirror, and so starting with yourself to make a change. And I've done that through recovery. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I'm still sober, nearly almost 2.5 years since my last drink here in the next month or so. And I've been off of hard drugs, for a long time. So I took that step where I had to look at myself in the mirror at some point in my life and think, what am I doing? And I make that change, and I have, and I welcome others to do the same by, with the man in the mirror. Yeah, and so I took that song, and the Michael Jackson song, very beautiful, legendary sort of song, and I heavy 7 string guitar shredding. It's a lot of screaming. That's why I'm starting with me, and all this heavy stuff. So the beauty and the horror, it fits all that criteria. Um, Life is Beautiful is the fourth song, and that is a 6 a.m. song, and about recovery, talking about Nikki Six from 6 a.m. has that band, and he got sober after overdosing, several times in Motley Crue, and he did a side project that was really the Heroin Diaries that were really focused on recovery. And that song always stood out to me. Life is beautiful, because despite the horror of it all, life is beautiful. There's beautiful things all around us. Yeah, and so that's song 4, and then the final song 5, was Jim Croce's "I Got a Name." And I my Jim Croce's always sort of reminded me of my dad, and there's so much practical wisdom in Jim Croce's music. So I took that song, and then "I Got a Name." On my Burning Memories album last year, there's a song on there called "I," which is a statement of self, and it's like I got a name. I am Damian. And the part about it, I carry it with me like my daddy did, I'm living the dream that he kept hid. And my dad wore his name was Bob Tiner. And I took the Devil Without Applause was a tribute to him on the Burning Memories album, and there's a song called "Sins of the Father" that'll be opening the Black Path album, that is also a tribute to my father, that expands on the first song. And so I chose that song, and very literary, like like the north wind whistling down the sky. I got a song, and like whippoorwill and a baby's cry. That's my song, and I carry it with me, and I sing it loud. And of course I took that song and made it a complete heavy metal, sort of thing. And I'm gonna go there free. And so those were the 5 songs for the beauty and horror that I picked, and a little overview of why I picked them.
Cool, cool. Yeah, so yeah, some really cool songs there, some really good classics there as well, especially from like Michael Jackson and Kansas and yeah. So we got a couple of comments from Ozzy talking about recovery. So good, Damien.
Oh, thank you.
Congrats on that.
I
From
appreciate
Lisaboo.
that. Yeah.
Also from Lisaboo, she's said, "Love your music."
Oh, thank you. So glad, dude. I appreciate you listening, and that's why I do it. It's so it'll cross the right ears, and bring joy and understanding of the world around us.
Um, Right. So the Beauty and the Whore is coming out end of this month or beginning of next month.
The date, I don't have an exact date yet, but I'm shooting for the end of January, start of February. It's just going through editing at this point. I have all the raw takes. I released a live video on YouTube, playing it right here in the studio, just with the backing tracks, and just to give people a preview of it. And I plan on making music videos to each of the songs individually, and those will be up on my YouTube channel as well. And and simultaneously, I'm working on the next original album, which is I'm shooting for this summer with. But yeah, the Beauty and the Horror, it's almost there. There's just mostly mixing and mastering, and then the process of actually releasing a song. And I got my good buddy Doug Franklin, Dangerous Doug. He's helping me out with the release process, and um, got some artwork together for it, and hopefully I'm going to try to make some really powerful videos, to it. And putting a lot into this project. I feel good about it. I can't wait to really get the full thing out there for everyone.
Cool. Cool. So going on to your follow up album to the one last year, could you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that?
Certainly. The Black Path is a song, all 11 song original album, and hope to have it out this summer. I've already recorded demos of all the songs. I'm just going in and redoing guitar parts and vocals and just coloring it up right now is where I'm at. But I know all 11 songs are ready to go. They're songs that I wrote between 2013. There might be a song or two that were a little bit earlier than that, but mostly from 2013 to relatively current. Starting with a song I wrote called "Sins of the Father," which is a song about generational curses and alcoholism and drug use, how it carries on to our children. And on top of that, as a kid, I think we all kind of go, we're not going to be like our fathers when we grow up, or we're going to be so much different. And as I grew up, I realized I became a lot like my father in a lot of ways. We certainly lived different lives, but there were a lot of similarities. And I discovered that probably about 2013 when I wrote this, the opening track, "Sins of the Father," which will likely be the first demo because I plan on doing a video to every song, one at a time, just the same way I did with Burning Memories. I released the album and then did a video for each song, and I plan on doing that. And essentially, this is a follow up album. It's a sequel to Burning Memories. It's the same subject matter. A lot of the songs are interwoven with their meaning, and they're all based on life events that happened to me and different things. There's another song, "Sweet Insanity" is another track, very very heavy song about desire, and this fight about broken relationships. A song called "Together Alone" about how we're all just sort of alone but together in all of this. "Torn Apart" is another song that's going to be on that album, which was kind of a turning point song for me. Like I need to get my life together. It touches on the recovery aspect of my life. Um, "Hell Instead of Heaven" is that place of desperation I was in. It's called "The Black Path" because it's a kind of about my descent into this darkness, through addiction and all that. And then the song sort of turns around, and with songs like "Turn It All Around" as a ballad where I was kind of laying on my deathbed, and I was like, I got to do something. And I started to get sober, and I gave up the drugs, and I started getting my health back. I had a blood clot and a pulmonary embolism, and the song touches on that. And there's a song called "Addict" on there that is one of the more recent songs I've written in the last few years, and it's you know touching about addicts. Like, does this sound like you? Does this sound like the life that you're living? There is hope out there, and you can turn it around. And so, it's a dive into the dark places that I went in my mind and how I found my way out of them. And so it's affectionately called the Black Path because I walked through the Black Path and addiction and recovery and came out the other side. And so it's sort of a recollection of that period of my life. And so that's essentially what this next album is about. And Burning Memories was kind of more of my origins as a person, some of the things that sort of shaped me as a person. And I look back to my early years in songwriting, and so this one expands on kind of where I went from there. And hopefully in 2027, I actually have a third and final album that will wrap up my entire catalog for the last 30 years. It's planned to be called Rare Form, and it's going to be all the rarest songs from all different years of my playing, songs that just never really got performed much, or were didn't really get the attention that maybe they should have. They didn't make it into certain bands that I was in, and I'm going to do that as a third. And at that point, I'll be all caught up releasing everything I've written in the last 30 years, and I can feel comfortable about writing new material and doing completely new things. And that's kind of what this trilogy really that I'm working on is all about.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, it will be like it will be amazing when you to actually finish the trilogy, to actually say, right, that chapter's done, move on to the next one.
Yeah. And I hope in the end I put it all in a nice box set, sort of thing, with maybe some literature to go with it, to tie some of the literal meanings together, and then I can offer that up, some way, somehow. But those are all plans for the future. But yeah, the Black Path will be this year. It's only a matter of months away before I get that album ready to drop, and it's going to be certainly a heavier album than Burning Memories. It's definitely a metal album at its core, and grunge, because I'm definitely a grunge lover, a mix of metal and grunge. But there's some really beautiful moments within the album, some ballads, and just some raw guttural craziness, and a lot of stuff in between, a lot of technical prowess within the guitar work. I'm going to have some guest drummers on it because my drumming ability isn't all that great, and but I got some guys that are willing to step up and do that. And of course, I don't operate completely solo anymore. Damian Inc. is what I call my group. I have a few collective musicians that I work with, and we perform now as a band. Last year we did the Burning Memories album in full live several times, and this year, we're doing shows. We do a mix of covers and originals, but Damien Inc. is what we call the band when I'm actually playing with the band these days. So definitely look forward to some guest appearances on the Black Path.
Cool, cool. We've got a couple of questions from the chat. The first one is Ozzy, Queen of the Rose. She asks, which is your favourite song of yours?
Oh, this is a hard one, because they're all like children. They're all like, how do you pick your favorite child? And I guess it comes down to one of the songs that is probably the most special to me lately. I think maybe it changes year to year, but "Old Town Tonight," the song 10 from Burning Memories. I wrote it in 1999 when I first started playing shows, and just every weekend I was out there playing, and I still play every weekend. I'm out there on some stage, and I see all the musicians get together and how hard we all work to make it happen. And it's just, when the night's over, you get to the end of the night and it's like, oh man, where did the show go? Was I really standing up here for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours playing? It's like 5 minutes, and then the lights go down and it's time to pack up all the gear. And you have that feeling inside your heart, like, there was a good time in the old town tonight. And so that song is very special to me. And if I had to pick a favorite at the moment, I would say "Old Town Tonight" would be the song.
Cool, Cool. Thank you for that, Ozzy. Um, just saying, JD team, chaos for life. So proud of you.
Uh, well, thank you, babe. God, Jen, she has been such a big supporter of my music. You know, she pretty much handles most all of my social media interactions and is sort of like my booking agent now as well. And so mostly so I can focus in on playing music and being creative. And she loves doing it. And I couldn't do it without her. She's so supportive of me, and you know I love her so much. We got lots of plans for this year coming, and you know I'm so thankful and grateful for her.
Yeah, good to see you, Jen. Good to see you. So we've got another question from Lisaboo. She asks, when you write your music, do you have a process?
uh Sort of. I Most of my songs start as lyrics. Uh, um, I would say that I'm probably a poet before being a songwriter. Most of my songs, I wrote some words down on a piece of paper when I was feeling a certain way, and then I tinkered around and started trying to come up with music that would fit the words. And sometimes I changed the words to fit the music, but more often than not, my songs were lyrics first and everything else afterwards. Generally, guitar. Most of them written on an acoustic guitar. So I'd get words, come up with something on the acoustic, adapt that to electric, and then introduce it to bandmates and have them play drums and bass, or I do play the other instruments, so I generally know what I want as far as a bass player and drum go. But you know, it all starts with the lyrics and an acoustic guitar, and it kind of evolves from there. And that's my process really. And some songs were different. Some were music first, but most of them were lyrics and so on.
Cool. So when you sort of like introduce the song to the rest of the band, how would they sort of like go off and sort of like practice the song? Do they come up with any other ideas or sort of like any sort of like small changes?
Yeah. Generally, what I do is, and every musician that I play the songs with will kind of render a different version of the song. You know that I'm not really a big perfectionist, so I'll present the song. Usually, I have it recorded or have some kind of recording of it, and I'll send it to them and tell them, you know, here's what I'm going for. Like the Beauty and the Horror, I did all the drum parts with my drumming abilities, which aren't great, but you know, they're I can hold a beat. So I do the general thing, and then Jason Piazza has kind of been my go-to guy as a drummer lately, and very skilled guy. He could hear something and just pick it apart. He's really into Tool and all these sorts of bands, uh, um, and I just, I tell him, hey, here's what I'm going for, and he listens to it, and he'll do his own thing with it, and very very solid drummer. And in years past, I used to work with Jimmy Teish in the Dirt Boys, and he was just he was on. He would just kind of intuitively know what I was going for, and be able to do it. So I've been very fortunate. And Mike DeGelder on the Burning Memories thing, I gave him, I played the drums on a demo of the track, and he knew some of the songs because we'd been friends for 25 years. So, so he knew some of the stuff. But he just came in, and I kind of let him roll with what he wanted to do. And I liked it. I'm very open. I like to let the music flow and feel natural. I don't try to push it to be this any one way or the other. I just let it sort of happen the way that it happens.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, thank you for the question there, Lisa. Um, so, oh, speaking of which, I'll get that question from Ozzy in a minute. So, are you in the process of planning any tours or any gigs?
Yeah, I'm up to about 20 shows or so booked this year. All relatively close by, right here in the Mojave Desert. There's $5 pizza. I hosted a bunch of shows there where I'll have myself and several bands, and I'm going to be doing it again this year. So every couple weeks, there's going to be a show at this cool venue called the $5 Pizza. Don't let the name fool you. There's a really awesome outdoor stage with a lighting rig, and it's all ages, and we do some great local concert quality stuff there. And it's an outdoor venue, and really cool, all ages. And then Froggies, I'm going to be doing some stuff in Apple Valley. I have February 28th. I have Riffs and Raps coming up with several artists, including Schizo Attack, my buddy Massive, who's been releasing songs, several other bands. March 20th, we're doing another get together there at Froggies with several bands. I've been playing at the Ace Hotel in Palm Springs acoustically lately, which I guess used to be the Hard Rock down there. Someone told me, right in the kind of middle of Palm Spring. Really cool place with a spa, and they just had a big bike and classic car show there that I played this last weekend. So lots of shows. I'm going to be going down to Long Beach for my birthday, where I grew up, and having a little birthday get together there. I'll be announcing shows all the time as I go on. I'm going to be playing Stormfest in Hesperia, February 21st, with I think 25 other acts and 2 stages. Uh, um, lots of stuff, and I release videos every week of all these shows. I always try to video everything and put it up. So anybody who's following the YouTube channel can keep up on it if they can't come to the shows. Of course, if they're from my neck of the woods, follow the social media. I always announce stuff and put up flyers, and plenty of shows. Lots of going hard in 2026 for sure.
Cool. So going sort of like expanding out a little bit, would if everything is aligned, got the finance, you got everything sorted with the band and everything, would you do sort of like a West Coast or
Oh
an
yeah.
East Coast tour, or possibly go in Canada or over to Europe for a tour?
Uh, I'm certainly open to it. The West Coast, of course that's my home, and and I love the West Coast, but I would love to get out and see the world and play. I plan on playing every weekend everywhere that I can, and whether that be here in the desert or across the country or globe. Certainly, if everything was aligned financially and I could, yeah, you bet.
Cool, cool. So, got a question from Ozzy. She asks, "Do you have a favorite place to play at?"
Well, the $5 pizza place that I've been playing at lately is we've it's just been so special. The All of last summer we did maybe a dozen shows there, and every show was just so special. And I love the kids, because it's an all age venue, so these kids are watching, and they're wanting to go home and learn guitar, and of course I playing in bars is feels like it feels weird to me because I don't drink alcohol, and there's always this big push, to sell drinks when you play at bars, and I don't mind, and I talk openly about my alcoholism and recovery, and because I know there's people there that might be on the fence, or maybe they're sitting there drinking themselves to death that night, and maybe they hear what I have to say, and so, but I don't have as much fun in the settings that people are just, drinking and getting drunk, and it's just different. The pizza place, though, it's an outdoor stage, so it's like a concert. We always have big PA systems, lighting rigs, and the kids and the families are running around, and it's our local community. We live close to the venue, and it's just always so special, and I would say that's kind of my favorite thing to do at the moment. But every show and every venue is unique, and I love them all for different reasons.
Cool. Thank you for that, Ozzy. Um, Lisa has just said, uh, would love if you came to Alberta, Canada too.
Uh, I would love that as well. I've never been to Canada, and I would love to. I love to travel. I love being places that I've never been before, and if I ever can, I definitely will.
Cool. Gia says the pizza place does sound special.
Yeah, it is. It has been very special. Of course, you can check that place out if you go on my YouTube and look up any of the $5 pizza shows. Very special. And I did the Burning Memories album release there, and me and my buddy Mike DeGelder, and we played the album in full from start to finish, and that video is up there on YouTube to check out, and you can see they're improving it. They've made a lot of upgrades to the stage, and this year is going to be really cool because they put a little bit of money into fixing it up, and so very special place. And you could go there, and there's a pizza place right there. They really do have $5 personal pizzas, so you can get a pizza, you can buy whatever soda you want, or if you want beer and stuff, you can buy that too. And but it's just a cool place, and the kids have a ball. There's a little grass. We don't really have grass out here in the desert, so so there's a grass lawn that everybody can sit on and play on. So it is a very special little spot.
Cool. Lisaboo says pizza and music sounds amazing. It does.
Yeah, it's the way to
Mm,
go.
yeah. So we've got another question from Gia this time. She asks, um, in your opinion and experience, what is the coolest aspect of being a musician?
Uh, well, let's see. That's and obviously being able to create. You have a thought inside of you or a feeling, and then that becomes a song, which becomes a production that echoes out there, and people are you feel that energy come back to you. That's just an amazing thing, and you feel accomplished. Me, I really, what drives me lately in these years of my playing is just inspiring others to play, to just do it. I host a lot of shows. I don't really set up these shows and then go, "Hey, I'm the big headliner." It's like I facilitate a stage and I perform, but I give all these other bands, slots to play, and they get up there, and some of these are guys they don't have a release, or they don't have a single, or they've never recorded anything, and they get up there and play, and they're just rock stars in that moment, and I just see the happiness and the smiles on their face. The just spreading inspiration and joy is really what keeps me going, and it's kind of my main focus as being a musician, and of course I love expressing my creativity, and that's magical in itself. But uh, just seeing people light up from the music, seeing somebody walk in looking lost, and walk away looking found, and it's so many, I've had so many heart touching moments, playing music, and little miracles, really little miracles all the time.
Cool. Thank you for that, Gia. Gia said, wow, and beautiful.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of like, is there any plans on doing merchandise such as like t-shirts, stuff like that?
Yeah. We're sort of in a holding pattern here with some finances. Uh, Long story, but we're kind of waiting on some financial sort of stuff to come through, and yeah, we plan on making some more t-shirts, hats. We're trying to set up a Shopify. Jen is setting up this stuff up, and where you can place an order for the merchandise, and and then have it shipped directly to you, and print it up as it gets ordered. So that's going to go live at some point, and people will be able to access it through the social media and through YouTube, and all that. But it's not active just yet. But within this next year, I believe it will be. So we're working our way towards that. Other than that, we've printed up some small batches, and unfortunately, they sell out pretty quickly, and we run out.
Cool. Cool. Ozzy, thank you for reminding me. She asks, "Did I hear right about vinyl?"
It's no official plans yet, but I've been asked several times about it, so we may at some point do some small batches of vinyl. It kind of seems like a lot of people are doing that, but no plans are underway just yet for vinyl.
Cool. If you did, would that go onto the Shopify link?
Yeah, it would definitely be able to be ordered online. I think that's kind of what our holdup is we're trying to get our online shop together, and so we can do it that way. Um, so we're working on it, just haven't quite got there yet.
Cool, cool. Thank you for that, Ozzy. Thank you for reminding me. Where can people find you on social media so they can basically keep up to date with what you're doing and when the release schedule is?
I would check the YouTube, Damian Lee Tiner on YouTube. I'm the only Damian Lee Tiner in the country, so if you put me in, or in the world, I believe I haven't found another Damian Lee Tiner in the world. So I pop right up when you put my name in. YouTube is I have a regular YouTube channel. Of course, Facebook under just Damian Tiner. You can reach out to me personally. I'm also on Instagram, and Gen as well. Just through social media, we're accessible, and YouTube is kind of where I'm generally putting most of my releases right now. Of course, more stuff will be up on Spotify and Vivo and stuff like that as the year progresses. But my YouTube is sort of the primary thing where I'm releasing music right now.
Cool,
Dave.
cool. We're going to be starting to wrap things up in the next 5-10 minutes. So, guys in the chat, if you've got any more questions, please ask away. Um, so, just seen Lisaboo spamming the chat there with a load of clips for some reason. Damien, I've asked this question before, but for those who are new to the channel, is there any advice for people who want to become a musician, whether it's for their own personal pleasure or possibly going down the commercial road?
Certainly. Well, let's see. First and foremost, if you're going to be a musician, whatever instrument that you're playing or whatever you do, be good at it. Practice it, practice it, practice it. Deliver it, be confident, know it inside out. Do your best every day, practice, because that will set you apart from the other people who maybe don't put in that kind of effort. Another thing is checking your intentions. If you get into this game, this industry, uh, fame and fortune is something that will is very elusive and will drive you crazy if it is your primary purpose for chasing it. I think I started out at a younger age thinking I was going to be the big, rich, famous rock star, and it never came. And there was a struggle, and so eventually, I shift towards, as I was mentioning earlier, I do it because I inspire people to do it, and so you got to check your motives. You got to check your motives, and because you got to make sure you're in it for the right reasons, and to go into music with a pure and whole heart, Make it about the music first is so important, because everything else is only a byproduct of that. So you got to start with the music, be creative, be good at what you do, and and be serious, and believe in yourself. That's half the battle. So I have so many musicians I see out there, they're trying to be like this person, or they're trying to be like that person, or they're going along with this trend or that trend. Like, do what you do, and do it well, and people will respond to that. That sort of organic energy is infectious. And so I would give those, certainly recovery. I go into it sober minded, and let the music be a channel of peace within you, and don't turn it into something that's going to cause turmoil in your life, and do it for the sake of the music. Encourage others, lift others up, because they in turn will help you and lift you up. And so that's some advice that I would throw out there for those starting out.
Cool. Sound advice there. Sound advice. I would also sort of like chime in with like stay true to yourself.
Mhm.
Stick with it.
Yeah, and stick with it. Yeah, 30 years I've been doing this. I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it, and I don't know. Some would say I never made it, but I think I'm making it every day. I'm out there playing, I'm creating, and I'm happy. I'm happy with what's going on with my music, and I'm proud of it. And as long as I can continue to say that, then it's going to continue to flow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Damien, um, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you to Jen for setting this up with the big hooks to Jen there for setting this up for us.
Yeah,
Uh,
she does a lot.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
she does a lot for me, and she really pushes me, and encourages me.
yeah. So yeah. So it says thank you so much for coming on and doing this little interview, and yeah, looking forward to the new releases, which
Awesome.
is
Yeah,
Beauty in the Heart and Black Path
correct.
coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, coming out. Hopefully, coming out sometime this year. Well,
yeah, they'll be
in the
out.
next,
They'll be out this year.
yeah, it'll be out this sometime this year. So yeah. So Damien, have you got any final words before we go?
Well, let me say thank you to you. I appreciate you having me on the show again. I love catching up with you, and I, I love this life doing music. Shout out to Dangerous Doug out there for his help. Shout out to Jason, Tyler, Big Dave, and all the boys that play music with me. My friends Second Fate, Malcolm, Mike Storm, all the Apple Valley crew out there, all the other musicians here in the Mojave Desert that helped me make this stuff happen. My friend Mike DeGelder. Uh, um, so many people. I just want to throw a shout out to everybody out there, everybody who's involved. You know who you are. Thank you so much.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, like you said, thank you so much for coming on, and it's been a total pleasure. Yeah,
All right.
so until next time, guys, we'll catch you all later.
All right. Catch you soon. Metal across the pond.